My thought for you this week, because it is the week of Hanukkah, we are in the middle of Hanukkah, or just in the beginning, couple of days. And so it's a festival, right? This season, I started talking about it maybe a month or so ago, but this is the season where we're asked to celebrate light. And we're asked to celebrate light in a way that says that the darker that it seems around us, the more we have to immerse ourselves in that light, right? That we have to actually understand it at a much deeper level. So I have a little quote from you from the Buddhist tradition. It says, enlightenment is like the moon reflected on the water. The moon does not get wet, nor is the water broken. Although its light is wide and great, the moon is reflected even in a puddle an inch wide. The whole moon and the entire sky are reflected in dewdrops on the grass, even in one drop of water. So this idea of the light being something that is very complete, and that it's something that is reflected through us, no matter how much we believe in it or not. Because Hanukkah, to my understanding, is really about that, right? It's about the faith that we have, that there's a goodness that runs through existence, right? That there are streams of goodness or abundance or things that are going to keep life moving, right? Keep things going. And that what we're asked to do is to really rely on that in our moments of darkness, in our moments of confusion, in our moments of despair. We're asked to turn to that so that we can get up and keep going, right? So this concept, right, that the light, the inner light that's being reflected through you happens even if you only have an inch of space that you're willing to give to it, right? Even if you think that your concept of faith for yourself is just a puddle, there's not very much. It still reflects the absolute completeness of that light. So let your eyes close for a moment. So how much space we give to that reflection, this is what we call meditation. It's what we call spiritual practice, is making more space so that that puddle that maybe begins as an inch wide starts to become larger and larger and larger until everything that we are, we become that big puddle that reflects the moon, right? That reflects the completeness of that light. So this is what we're asked to do. So with your eyes closed, breathe into that image of the moon reflected on water. And what often comes with this is the reminder that the moon is the moon, and it doesn't matter how many sources of water that there are, it will reflect itself completely in all of them and loses nothing. It is not any less complete in the 1-inch puddle than it is in the ocean, than it is in a lake, than it is in any other form. And it reflects endlessly. So we're given this as that this is what faith brings us to, is it brings us to that place where there is that endless renewing source of energy that is you. And so there's nothing to be afraid of. Breathing in that image of the moon reflecting on water. Maybe even in your mind, see many places, many sources of water the moon reflects in all at once. And as tiny and as insignificant as you think your life might be, it's illuminated by that same light. So the puddle and the ocean are different only in their magnitude, but their importance is exactly the same. Go ahead, take one more deep breath, maybe pulling the shoulders up towards the ears so that you actually lengthen your spine and you squeeze everything up. And then as you exhale, just drop the shoulders and let your spine stay long. Good, and then bring the hands together in front of the heart, palm to palm. We'll open with the sound of Om, deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands. Bring your hands to your knees or your thighs, please, and start to circle your torso. Make nice big spirals. Good. The other way it's often said is that, a single candle flame can light 10,000 candles and not lose anything from itself. The original light does not diminish. So that original light, right, we can go backwards and start to say, like, well, what is the moon? The moon's light, where does it come from? It's reflected from the sun. Well, where does the sun's light come from? It's generated by the sun. Where did the sun come from? It was created by this, it was created by that. It goes back and back and back and back and back until eventually we always get to this point that philosophically is often called the uncaused cause. Move your torso the other way. So that's the place where you can no longer keep going back and say, well, this is happening because of, and there's simply the place where things are. And that's the source of the original light. That is the original light. And that's what's permeating all of the other pieces that you can name and describe, all the way through that chain, all the way down to you being one of those infinite ways that the light shines itself. But even though you might seem like you're very far away from that original source, you are exactly the same. Like that pool of water reflecting the moon, you are exactly the same. Come back to stillness, start to cat-cow your spine, hands still on the knees or the thighs. And so if that light is permeating you and it's also reflecting itself through everyone around you, everything around you, and it's all already taken care of. We don't know how or why, but it's already taken care of. So let go of worry. Good. And then come back to stillness, please. Stretch your right arm out down to the floor. Walk your right arm out beyond your right hip, please. So extend, walk out to the right. And then take the left arm up over the ear, side body stretch. If you can comfortably come down to that right forearm, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, stay on your fingertips. Good. Yeah, and really press that left sit bone down to the floor. So you're anchoring down. You're actually rounding through that low space of your waist a little bit more. And relax the shoulders away from the ears. Good. Stretch through the fingertips, so a little bit less bend in that elbow pull. Good. And then come all the way back up to center, please. Go the other way. Reach the left hand out and down. Walk it out beyond your hip. Right arm comes over the ear. And again, if you can comfortably come down onto that left forearm, go ahead. Even if your forearm can't touch the floor, if you bend your elbow a little bit, again, it's going to give you a little bit more weight into that stretch on the right side body. And you can always keep walking that left hand a little further away so that you have more space to get long through your side ribs. Nice. Press down through that right sit bone. Good. You guys reach through your right fingertips. You're really extending. And then come all the way back up to center. Beautiful. Roll forward onto hands and knees. Good. And then stretch your right arm out wide to the right. Slide it behind your left wrist. Right shoulder finds the floor. Walk the left arm forward towards straight. Thread the needle. Yeah, you got it, Diane. And then just walk that left arm forward above the top of your head. That's it. Good, you guys. Keep that left elbow bent just a little bit so that you can press into your fingertips. Good, and use that pressure into the floor to really open your left side ribs. Good, and reach through that right side. Nice, press into your shins. So Lisa B, move your shoulders a little bit more towards the left edge of your mat. There you go. Now you got a little bit more room to twist. Beautiful, you guys. Navel in. Breathe into the middle ribs, the back ribs. Good. And then come all the way back up to center, please. Good. Go to the other side. Left arm goes wide. Then slide behind your right wrist. Shoulder finds the floor. Walk the right arm forward towards straight. Good. Then bending the elbow just a little bit. So again, you have a little bit more pressure into your fingertips. Good. With the elbow bent, you maybe feel your shoulder a little bit more instead of just the pull through your side body. So you feel a little bit more integration. And then draw your ribs and your navel in and lift that left side body open towards the ceiling. Good. Press into your shins. Widen your left low belly. Nice, Stacy. Good, Lisa. Nice, Lynn. And then slowly come all the way back out, hands and knees. Good. Come back to downward facing dog, please. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Nice. Bend your knees a lot. Cat-cow your spine. Good. So that original light is permeating everything. It shines through you. And the less there is obstructions from your own thinking, your own thought process about yourself, the brighter it shines, or the more completely it is visible. But where we are, the way that we help to make that light more present for ourselves and our awareness is we have to feed it, right? Any type of fire, you have to feed it. Come back to stillness, please. Stretch your legs back to straight. Let your heels drop towards the floor. So you're not pushing through your heels, but you're just letting them drop. And then you're letting your heart drop towards your hands. Good. And then right leg comes up and back. So downward facing dog, Diane. Right leg comes up and back, down dog split. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, stack the right hip on top of the left, and then start to make circles with that knee. So come back to down dog, Diane. And then just take your right leg up to the sky. So you're balancing on your left leg. There you go. And then bend your right knee in towards your butt. Good. Stack the hip open and then make circles with that knee. You got it. Nice, you guys. So how do we feed that inner fire, right? How do we feed that inner light? The only way we can do it in this form is we have to actually express it physically. We have to give it. Good. Lift and open that right side, right knee. Open, open, open. Good. And then stretch the leg back out to straight, please. Turn your toes down towards the floor and then release that right foot down to the floor. Slide forward to plank pose, upward push up. Lower down slow to your belly, coming through knees first if you need. Good. Rise up, cobra, lift head, neck, and chest. Good. Press back, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Nice. And then left leg comes up and back, down dog split. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, stack the left hip on top of the right, and make circles with that knee. Good. Keep this feeling that you are not pushing into your hands out of desperation here because now there's more weight on them, but it's still your heart falling towards your hands. Good. And still your hips pulling up towards the sky. Nice. So we fuel our own inner flame. We fuel our own inner light by giving it, by expressing it. So the more you do that is rooted in love, for lack of a better word, connection, the more that light becomes apparent to you. Good. Lift and open that left side. Nice. Straighten the leg, please. Still with the hips stacked. And then curl into your belly. Turn your toes down towards the floor. And then release the left foot down, downward facing dog. Slide forward to plank pose. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need, all the way to your belly. Rise up, cobra. Good. Downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Nice, you guys. Right leg comes up and back, down, dog split. Breathe into that. And then step the right foot forward between the hands. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky. High lunge. Deep breath in. Good. Interlace your fingers overhead, please. Point your fingers to the sky and then lean to the right, side body stretch. As you lean to the right, don't push your hips out to the left, so squeeze those in towards the center. Nice. Come back up to upright and then lean the other way. Take your torso out to the left, but don't push your hips out to the right. Keep squeezing your feet towards each other. So you're in a lunge, Diane, with your right foot forward. Good. Come all the way back up to center, please. Good. Release the hands down to the floor. Hands on blocks if you need. Keep the back heel lifted, straighten your front thigh. Good. Squeezing the feet together, pulling the hips nice and high. Your back heel can come up off the floor as much as you want. Squeeze the legs towards each other. Good. And then bend that right knee again, please. This time dropping, actually, no, stay. Don't drop the back knee yet. Left hand plants right onto the sky, spinal twist. I changed my mind. Good. Switch your hands, Lydia. There you go. Squeeze the feet towards each other. Switch your hands, Diane. There you go. Release that right hand down to the floor. Nice, you guys. Drop the back knee. Now you are going there. Use a blanket underneath the knee if you'd like. Inhale both arms to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Deep inhale. And then reach the hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers at the low spine. Good. And now pull those shoulders up towards your ears. Pull your armpits up towards your ears. Pull your side waist up, 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 up. And watch that those ribs don't push forward. Pull them in. As they pull in, let your pelvis move forward more. So Stacy, front knee over the front ankle. Good. And then lift your chest a little higher, you guys, and start to pull those hands back towards your heel, any amount. Good. So you don't have to lean back a whole lot, but pull your hands away from your low spine, any amount. So you make space there. Good. Pulling the hands back away from your butt. One more deep breath. Nice. And then release, please. Hands down to the floor inside the front foot. Walk to the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Come on down to your forearms if you'd like, or stay on fingertips. Good. Nice, you guys. Where you act in the world in a way that feeds your own heart. Lets your heart feel like there's a completeness to what you are giving, not to what you're getting, but to what you're giving. That's what creates that feeling, that recognition of the moon being a whole reflection, or that first light being a whole reflection and not just a little sliver. So it's in how much you fully commit and give to the life that you are living. Right? You hold back so much of yourself because there's a fear that there's not going to be enough, or you're not going to be enough, or it's going to be too hard or too painful or whatever. The more you give, having no idea how it's going to go and if it's going to be what you want and if you're going to get what you want. Right? That's what trust is. That's what faith is. All you can do is act with the completeness of your heart. And if you do that, then that takes that little inch of puddle that maybe we start with, and it grows it and grows it and grows it. We see more of the light of the moon. Walk your hands back in just a little bit, please. Stay on your forearms if you can. So left hand holds your right ankle, right arm to the sky, twist. Yeah, if that doesn't make any sense, then just left hand or left elbow on the floor, right arm to the sky, twist. Good. And then still holding your ankle, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up. Yeah, not the quad stretch, just lift the back knee up to a slightly higher lunge. Good. Nice, you guys. Throat up, chest up. Beautiful. And then release that hand, please. Walk your hands back up to frame the front foot. Nice. Lift the back knee if you didn't already, and then step your left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight Parsvottanasana. Blocks under the hands if you need them. Good. Give a little bend to your front knee so that you lean into that for a moment. And then as you lean into your front knee, pull your left inner thigh back. That's it. Nice, Lydia. And then as your left inner thigh goes back, keep it there. Keep the energy moving back into that leg. And then start to pull your hips up and back at an angle, like you're pressing them back into downward facing dog, and let your right leg come to straight. Push through your right foot. Good. Nice, you guys. So the right foot is forward, Maria. Left leg is back, both legs straight. Beautiful, you guys. Take one more breath. Nice. And then bend that right knee, please. Plant the hand, step back, downward facing dog. Good. Slide forward to plank pose, upward push up. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Rise up, cobra, lift head, neck, and chest. And exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Contemplating, really, where is your heart in your practice? Where is your heart in your life? Good. Left leg comes up and back, down dog split. Are you giving completely to what you're doing, or are you holding something back for later because maybe you'll need it? Step that foot forward between the hands. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky, high lunge. Good. Nice, you guys. Take the arms overhead, interlace the fingers, pointer fingers to the sky, and then lean to your left, please. Side body stretch. Good. And again, not letting the hips push out to the side, but keeping them squeezing in towards that midline. Come back up to center. Let your arms go the other way, reaching to the right like the crescent moon. Good. It appears to wax and wane, but that's only because of our perspective. The moon is always complete. Come all the way back up to center. Good. Release the hands down to the floor, please. Nice. Right hand plants, left arm to the sky, spinal twist. Even here, don't let your hips push out to the left. Pull them in towards the midline again. So pull them in back towards the right. Push your right hip wider. That's it. And then open the ribs. Good, Susan. Both my Susans. Nice. Release that hand down to the floor, please. Drop the back knee. Use a blanket there if you'd like. Inhale both arms up to Anjaneyasana. Good. So you want your front knee to be over the front ankle. It's even able to come slightly in front of the ankle in this position. So don't cheat yourself of that. Let your pelvis move forward. And if your lunge is so wide that you have no ability to shift forward at all, maybe shorten it a tiny bit. Pull your heel back in so that you can get that movement of the pelvis. Good. And then take your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers at the low spine. Shrug your shoulders up, pull your side ribs up, pull your side waist up, 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 even though your pelvis is going down. Pull up through your sides. Nice. And then start to lift the chest just a little higher, little baby back bend, but pull the hands back towards that back heel. More important, right? Can you lift from your armpits, pull your arms away from your lower spine? Even if the elbows are bent, that's fine, but see if you can get that backwards action of the arms as the chest lifts and your ribs pull in. Nice, Diane. Nice, Andy. Good. Let your pelvis move forward a little more, Maria. That's it. Nice, you guys. Release the hands, please. Both hands come inside the front foot. Walk to the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Come on down to your forearms if you'd like, or stay on your fingertips. Good. Enlightenment does not divide you, just as the moon does not break the water. You cannot hinder enlightenment, just as a drop of water does not hinder the moon in the sky. The completeness of that inner light. Nothing you do can really destroy it. Nothing you do can inhibit it. You can refuse to look at it, but it's still there. What we're given as spiritual practice is to feed it. Instead of ignoring it, is can you feed it so that what you see is not just that little sliver, it's not just an inch, but you see the whole thing. And you do that by really giving to your life, your whole self. And cultivating that sense of trust that if that's what you give, then everything that you get in return is your enlightenment. Good. Come a little closer in towards that front foot. Please stay on your elbows if you can. Right hand holds left ankle or right hand to the floor, left arm to the sky, twist. So don't change the lunge, Diane. Keep the left foot forward. Yeah, and then right hand holds that ankle. You got it, and left arm to the sky. So you want to keep that right shoulder down. You want to keep that right forearm down if you can. You got it. Nice, you guys. And then tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up. So you're still holding the ankle, but you're lifting that back leg, back knee higher so that you're in a higher lunge. Good. Throat back, chest open. You got it, Stacy. I know some of you are looking at me like you can't possibly be doing the right thing. You are. And then release that hand down to the floor. Both hands walk up to frame the front foot, please. Good. Oh, we forgot to do this before. Just straighten your left thigh. Pull your left heel up towards the sky. So both legs are straight. Back heel lifted. Squeeze up. Good. So it's the long stretch first because I forgot to do it before. Good. Nice. And now bend the front knee, please. Step your left foot forward a tiny bit and come back to the same position with both legs straight. Parsvottanasana. Sorry, right foot steps forward a little bit more. I think I said the wrong foot. Good. Nice, you guys. And then a little bend to your front knee so that you lean into that. And as you lean forward with your torso, press your right inner thigh back. Good. And then keep that backwards pull of the back thigh, the backwards pull of your pelvis. Pull your hips up and back and start to straighten the left leg again, pushing into your left foot. Nice, you guys. Good. Take really long, deep breaths. And a practice of feeling that nothing that you do is going to divide you. Because that's what happens. The mind is in 1,000 different places and it categorizes how your life is going. And so it moves itself away over and over again from that feeling of completeness and says, well, this must be what's true because this is what I keep doing. The more we feed that energy of completeness by doing and being and really acting from the fullness of your heart without worrying, where is it going to come from? What's going to come next? We relax into life a little bit more. And we feel that there's an energy that holds us, that there's something there beyond the mind saying, no, there's too many things to keep track of. Stop keeping track. That's faith. I stop keeping track. I stop keeping score. Good. Bend that front knee, please. Plant the hand, step back, downward facing dog. Nice, you guys. Slide forward to plank pose, upward push up. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Rise up, cobra. Inhale, lift head, neck, and chest. Good. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Take your right ankle over your left thigh in down dog, and then bend your left knee a lot. Pull it forward towards the top of your mat as you push your butt back. So it's like you're doing a cross-legged down dog, right ankle over left thigh. So it should be above your left knee in the front, Lydia. Yep, in the front of your thigh. There you go. And then bend your left knee a lot. So it's like you're doing cross-legged chair, but you're in downward facing dog. Yeah. Good. A nonsense position. You're allowed to call it that. Pull your hips back. Yes, long spine. Good, you guys. And then slowly start to straighten that left leg, please, pushing the hips up to the sky. Unwind the right leg, take it up and back behind you, down dog split. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, knee points down to the floor. Good. And then pull those arm bones up and into the shoulder socket. Lift your chest forward and up just a little bit. Yeah, don't drop the belly on purpose, but lift the chest so much and keep lifting that thigh that the belly has no choice but to stretch. Good. So it's like you're doing a little dancer pose, but in down dog. Beautiful. And then drop the head straight in that right leg, please. Nice. And then bring that right knee forward in wide pigeon pose. Good. Yep. So right knee goes towards your right wrist, sliding the left leg back behind you. If doing pigeon this way does not work for the knees or any other part, you can do this on your back, right ankle stacked on top of left knee. Good. Turn the pelvis forward and then walk yourself onto your forearms if you'd like. Fingertips, blocks, whatever you need. So of course I have my favorite story also from the Buddhist tradition, strangely enough. That kind of mirrors the Hanukkah theme. Because in that tradition as well, many traditions, there is that concept of lighting lights, either lighting candles or lighting lamps or something that is meant to be an offering to our ancestors, an offering to God, an offering to the universe, however it's framed. But so the Buddhist tradition has this as well, where there's a time to light lights, to light lamps. And so the story goes is that at this particular temple, or this particular monastery, is that the people are coming from, far and wide to make their offerings. And there's this beggar woman who she has this, minuscule offering. Her lamp is barely enough to, make the offering itself, barely enough to light. It's nothing, hardly anything there. It's a beat up lamp. And some of the monks look at what she brings and they're like, why is she even bothering? Why even bother? Like, go home. You're poor. You can't even afford this. Like, go home. There's no point to making this offering. But she's so excited to be able to do it, right? That you can imagine that all year she's scrimped and saved and done everything that she can to get just enough to be able to do this. And so she makes her offering, and the lamps are lit, the offerings are made. And, you know, through the next day or whatever, many of the more elaborate lamps go out. Their fuel runs dry. But day after day, and this shocks, you know, the monks that are there, day after day, the one lamp that is burning is the one that was left by that beggar woman. And they have no explanation for why or how. It just continues to burn. Walk yourself back up onto your forearms, please. Good. Left hand stays where it is. Take your right arm up to the sky, twist. Yep, twisting in pigeon. And this, you can come into Anjaneyasana instead if you'd like, if you're on your back, or just stay where you are. And then the option here is to reach for the quad stretch. So bend the back knee, pull it in, and reach back for the foot or the ankle. You could also be up on your hands here if being on the elbow doesn't work. You can be on your left hand and reach back for the foot. Yeah. So a twisting quad stretch, Lynn. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Good, there you go. Nice. And then slowly release, please. Tucking the back toes, lifting the back knee, downward facing dog. Good, so if you're on your back, come back up to downward facing dog. Good, pedal your feet just a little bit. Nice. And then steady the heels. Left ankle comes over right thigh. Bend that right knee a lot. So cross-legged chair in your down dog, other side. So left ankle crosses over the front of your your left ankle crosses over the front of your right thigh. And then you're pulling that knee forward towards your belly. Good, and you're pushing your butt back and tucking your tail just a little bit so that you fold through the front of your thigh creases, like you're gonna drop your butt onto your right heel. Good. If we don't have that kind of fold happening, is that we actually miss the length on our lower back. So you have to bend that right knee a lot and try to find that subtle fold. That's it, Lydia. And then tuck the tail a tiny bit so that you can push it back. What's up, Stacy? I can't hear you. You have no idea where we are. Cross-legged chair in down dog. We're about to come to down dog split with the left leg up. Good. Unwind the legs, please, you guys. Straighten that right leg. Take your left leg up and back behind you. So left leg up and back, Stacy, down dog split. Bend that knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, keep the knee pointing down, and then press that heel up towards the ceiling. Good, hips still facing the floor. Pull your arms up into your shoulder socket, lift your chest, so find the little back bend. Good, as you lift through that thigh. So again, it's like your whole body is extending here. It's not, am I getting stuck in my shoulders or my hips or both or my thigh or all three? It's, can you feel yourself stretching in all directions? One action. Good. And then drop the head, stretch that left leg back to straight. Beautiful. And then bring the left knee forward and wide, pigeon pose on the second side. So the left knee goes towards the left wrist. Hips are facing straight ahead. So try and get right and left hip point to be in line with each other before you come down to the floor. Good. And then walk the fingertips forward, coming down onto the elbows, forearms, blocks, whatever you need. If you're on your back, left ankle crosses over right thigh. Good. So of course the monks are flabbergasted that this ridiculous looking, terrible looking offering is somehow miraculously still burning. And they're like, how is this possible? And in some versions of the story, it's the abbot of the monastery. In some versions, it's the Buddha himself who happens to be there and says it's there because of the faith of the one who lit it. And because her faith, her devotion was so complete, he said that light will never go out. And even if you tried to extinguish it, you couldn't. So this is what we're asked to look for. And you know, there's no mistake that it's a beggar. And it's not about, you know, the poverty of the world that they're talking about. It's the fact that when you give everything that you have, even when you are sure you have nothing that's worth giving, you give it anyway. It makes this incredible impact on the world. This is what we're asked to do. The more that you give of yourself, it fuels that inner light, shines brighter. And it shines brighter, not just for you to see, but it shines brighter for everyone else, everything else in your world to experience also. You become the candle that lights the flame for others, because they might look at what you do and what you are and say, I want something of that in me. So the faith is recognizing that even if we think we only have that puddle that's able to reflect that original light, that one puddle, that 1 inch that we give it is complete. Nothing is missing. Nothing is missing, and there is nothing in this world that can extinguish it. You are never broken. Just like the moon isn't broken by movement of the water. You cannot inhibit enlightenment. You cannot inhibit that light from shining through you, but you can limit the space that it has. So our whole practice is stop limiting your space. Give completely, even if you have nothing worth giving. Take one more breath. Then walk yourself back up onto your forearms. Again, staying on the forearms if you can, or stay up on the hands if you need. So the right hand or the right forearm stays on the floor, left arm comes to the sky, twist. Good. And then the option is to bend the right knee, take your heel in towards your butt and reach back for the foot or the ankle. So a twisting quad stretch. And you can do this in Anjaneyasana instead, if that makes more sense. Good. You can also just come into spinal twist, Lydia, if you want to. Left knee over to the right side. Good, you guys. Some of you have very happy expressions on your face. That's amazing in this position. And then slowly release. Come all the way back. Good. Lift the back knee. Come back to downward facing dog. Good. Pedal the feet just a little bit. Nice. And then steady your heels. Step the right foot forward between the hands. Good. Back heel comes flat. Baby toe parallels the back of your mat. Cartwheel your arms up to warrior two. Good. So back heel flat on the floor, Lynn, warrior two. Yep. Hips turn to the side. Arms straight out, letter T. I know, Lynn, keep turning your ribs, arms wide. There you go. Good. Right forearm comes onto front thigh, please. Left arm comes over the ear. Yeah, there's something about the Zoom format that sometimes our brain just does not understand what words mean. I get it. Good. Pull your ribs in, please. Nice. And then take your left hand to your left hip. Take your gaze down forward beyond the toes of your front foot. Slide that hand to the floor or a block, half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So step up onto the right leg. Stack your left hip on top of the right. So your left toes are turned to the side. Your leg parallel to the floor. So it's a one-legged balance. There you go. Right hand should be holding something, the floor or a block. And then left arm to the sky when you've got it. Good. And then pull that left knee in towards your chest. So not back behind you. Pull it in towards your chest. Squeeze in. And as you squeeze that knee in, rotate your right butt cheek back and wide. That's it. And now extend that left leg back behind you. Push out, but don't pull the leg back behind your hip. Keep your pelvis really level. Do it one more time. Squeeze that knee in towards your chest. As it squeezes in, rotate your right butt cheek wider. Rotate your right thigh wider to the right. Good. And then extend that left leg back out behind you without letting your right butt cheek go back to where it was. Awesome. Stay here. Or if you'd like, now bend the knee, kick your heel back towards your butt and reach back for the foot or the ankle. Good. You got to rotate that left shoulder open, rib cage open. Love that you're using the couch there, Diane. That's perfect. One more breath. Open the chest. Awesome. Extend the leg out behind you, left arm to the sky. Beautiful. And then bend your right knee, step back to warrior two. So don't fall out of your pose. Come back to warrior two. That's it. Left hand drops down the back thigh, right palm spins up and back, reverse warrior. Good. Don't let that front knee fall in, Andy. Pull it wide. You too, Mark. Pull it wide. Good. And then come back up to center, please. Inhale. And then exhale, cartwheel, hands down to the floor. Good. Spin your back heel up, downward facing dog. Vinyasa, if you like, child's pose if you prefer. So the vinyasa is sliding forward to plank, child's pose, knees to the floor, drop your hips back to your heels. If you're coming forward to plank, you're lowering down to your belly, rising up cobra, downward facing dog. You change your form over and over again, but the light inside never wavers. You give it a puddle or you give it an ocean, the light never wavers. It's how much you give of yourself, what you think of as yourself, that little self. How much you give to it is how big you will see that reflection. Good, downward facing dog. Good, left foot steps forward between the hands. Drop the back heel, baby toe parallels back of your mat, cartwheel the arms up, warrior two. Virabhadrasana 2. Good, so ribs should be facing the side, arms out, letter T, straight out from the shoulders, each shoulder. Good, front knee pointing towards second or third toe. Good, yeah, we want to keep that widening so that we keep opening up through the outer hip and thigh. Nice, left forearm comes onto the front thigh, right arm comes over the ear, side angle. So coming forward to side angle means that your left thigh can actually go deeper into the lunge. Don't pull out of it because your torso is coming forward. Let your lunge go a little bit deeper, dropping the pelvis. Don't let your knee go forward of the ankle though, Lydia. There you go. Good, right hand comes to your right hip, you guys. Take your gaze down towards the floor. Slide that left hand down and forward to either find the floor or a block, and then step up to half moon. Right hip stacking on top of the left. Right toes turned to the side. Ribs opening to the side. Good. And then right arm can lift straight up to the ceiling if you'd like, or keep it at your hip if that makes more sense. Good, just flex that foot in the air, Diane. There you go. Yep, the more you flex the foot and you actually have energy running through that leg, the less it's going to feel like a windsock that's just pulling you in every direction. Good, now pull that knee in towards your chest, please. Right knee in towards your chest. And as it pulls in, it's almost like you are lengthening your tail. So you're taking your left butt cheek back and wide. Good, and then extend that right leg back out behind you, but don't pull the heel back behind your hip. Keep it just in line. Good, and then do it again. Pull that knee in. As you pull it in, you're widening your left knee and pulling the top of that left butt cheek back and in. I know, it's a pain in the butt, literally. And then extend that leg back behind you again. Good, without pulling it back behind your hip. That's it. And then either stay here or bend that knee, take your heel in towards your butt and reach the right hand back for the foot or the ankle. But same rules apply. If you pull your knee or you pull it all the way back behind your hip, is you've totally lost the integrity of your whole body, right? So you can't just push out through the ribs and push out through the thigh. Got to keep that left butt cheek pulling back and in and stack right hip on left. Good. Extend all the way back out. Nice, you guys. Even if you think that was a terrible offering, God appreciates it. And then step yourself back, warrior two, please. Yeah, don't fall out of your pose, warrior two. Good. Right hand drops down the back thigh, left palm spins up and back, reverse warrior. Even if you did fall out of your pose, you find yourself in the next one. Good. And then come back up to center, arms wide, and cartwheel the hands down to the floor. Nice job. Spin your back heel up, step back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Deep breath in. And then drop down to the knees, please. Do a little hip circling. I know you wanted it to be a child's pose in a second. In a second, okay? We work one side of the body at a time, and yes, we do both, but when you've worked one side and not the other, then sometimes things don't settle completely. Move your hips the other way. So what good does it do us if we've been messing around on one side of the body and one hip is now kind of different than the other, and then we press back to child's pose and we solidify that and say, good, hips don't be in line with each other. No. Good. Now come back to stillness, drop back to child's pose with an awareness of both thighs, both hip points moving at the same rate. Good. Moving towards the heels equally. And if at some point you feel like that's not what's happening, can you adjust to lift the side that is dropping? Lift up the places that are collapsing. Right, we have this thing we say in yoga at the end of every class, namaste. Means or translates to the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. And if I see me as that and I see you as that, then we are no longer separate. We are one and the same. We're the same damn moon reflected in different water. So how sincerely we can say that to someone else has everything to do with how sincerely we can say that to ourselves. So even if you only have an inch of water that you think you give to that light, you only have a puddle. Remember, it is complete. The moon is not less because the water itself seems small. The light is not less significant because it's you that's radiating it. Whatever your thoughts about yourself happen to be, you cannot lessen it. So relax. Walk yourself back up, please. Good. Come to sit on your butt. Take your legs out in front of you. Good. Right leg stays extended. Bend the left knee. Bring the bottom of the foot to the inside of the right leg. Let your left knee go wide. Then inhale the arms up to the sky. A little twist to the right. Bow over the right thigh. Janu Shirshasana. So right leg is extended. Left knee is wide. There you go. I know I say the Sanskrit names like that's going to make any difference to any of you. I'm like, this pose, come on. Lydia knew it. There you go. It's always my joke that, right, and with quarantine, it's like, what do you mean you weren't studying your Sanskrit? Come on. Some people bake bread. We're yogis. We should have been studying Sanskrit. Can you give more and more and more completely of yourself? And that doesn't mean that you're giving yourself away. It's not about trying to make yourself uncomfortable, but it's not holding back. You recognize the places where you hold back so much in your life because of whatever the reasons are. Either stay here or start to move into a little bit more of a twist. So reaching the hands, both hands to the baby toe side of your right leg, the extended leg. Good. You can keep that left hand at the baby toe, and then the right arm can either come over the ear or up to the sky. So you're twisting your belly to the right. You're using that foot or that shin as an anchor. Good. So really turn the ribs open, open, open. I don't care if that other hand can find your foot. If you can't turn your ribs all the way open, it doesn't mean anything. So long ribs and open. Nice, Andy. Nice, Mark. Good, Alice. Nice, Stacy. Nice, Harriet. Beautiful, you guys. And then slowly release back towards that right thigh. Good. And then walk yourself all the way back up. Beautiful. Switch the sides, please. Take your left leg forward. Bend your right knee, bottom of the foot to the inside of the left leg. Let your knee go wide. Arms to the sky, little twist to your left. Then bow over the left leg. Good. So Stacy, I totally don't mind that you're doing a wider angle on that leg, but it's up to you. I had it straight forward from the hip, but you can be at whatever angle you like. It makes the twist more complicated with the wider angle. That's all. Good, you guys. And then a little bit more twist through your low waist. So your right rib cage, yep, coming forward. Nice, you guys. A thought that you cannot hinder enlightenment. It's coming your way no matter what. So you give a lot of space. You give a lot of yourself. You know, this is faith, is recognizing that the more you give, the more there is of you to give. And it's never ending. Right? Your ability to really pour love into the world or pour love into your life is it is never ending. Again, your mind can get exhausted, your body can get tired, but that source never does. And so when we're too tired to do it the other ways, we fall into that. Right? I have nothing left to give, nothing worth giving. And yet that light still shines. So it's almost in gratitude, it's said that when you get to those points where you're like, I'm sure I have nothing else to give, we're like, great, because that's where you start to access faith. Right? Despair, we're often told, is that's a perfect place for enlightenment. It's not the opposite, it's the same. How much space do you give for that light to shine? an inch or an ocean. Either stay here or start to move towards that twist, taking both hands to the baby toe side of the left foot. Good. So again, you're anchoring there, either the forearm pressing against the shin or physically holding the foot. And then the left arm can extend up towards the sky. It can reach over the ear once you've turned the ribs open into the twist. You can reach over the ear, or you can take that hand back to your hip, right? It can just reach behind you. It doesn't have to be over the ear. Nice. Good, Lydia. Left rib cage open, open, open. That's it. Good, Susan. Both Susans. Since you're next to each other, I see both of you. Awesome, Lisa. Come all the way back up, please. Turning back over that left leg. Good. Unwind yourself. Nice. And then stretch both legs out in front of you. Give them a shake. Go wide with both legs. So a wide straddle. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. Press down through your heels and feel like you are squeezing your feet towards each other, even though they're not going to move. And then start to lean forward, extend your spine, forward fold, no hands. So keep reaching out, arms stay alongside your ears. So you got to push your butt back, press down through your legs, really use your legs, flex your feet and extend, 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 extend. Press down through your heels. Don't lock your knees, just press through your heels. Yeah, they're good, Lisa. I saw you unlock. Good. Extend, extend, extend. Nice. And then let the hands drop down to the floor. Good. Wherever you are, fingertips touching something. So fingertips on the floor, round your back a lot. Good. Nice. And now press down through the hands and drag backwards. So it's like you're pulling your arms into the shoulder socket, and then lift the back of your heart, lift your chest, pull forward, lengthen. Good. And then one more time, round without moving the hands. Just pull back so you press your seat down into the floor a little bit more. Good. And then press down into the hands and drag back. Lift your chest forward and up, lengthen. Nice. And then drop your forehead towards the floor. Come into the forward fold with no effort. Relax everything and see what happens. Good. And then slowly walk back up, please, unwinding your spine. Beautiful. Bring the legs towards each other, scoot forward, come onto your backs. Good. Bending the knees, planting the feet. Beautiful. So set the arms alongside you for one bridge pose. So either arms straight or bend the elbows into robot arms. Good. Pressing down through the feet, pressing through the arms. Lift your armpits first. So feel that lift coming from the back of your heart rising up. And then let that carry your hips to the sky. So the chest lifts, then the hips rise up. And press your heels down and drag back. So your knees should move forward towards the tips of your toes a little bit more. Good. You don't have to cheat by pulling your heels closer in to make it feel like that. I want you to really feel what it's like to move yourself by dragging back on your heels and pull your thighs forward. So Lydia, thighs forward. Yeah, there you go. It's way too easy to push into your heels and use that as the momentum to push everything into your shoulders. Sounds like life, right? I muscle my way through. I just push everything into my shoulders. So that completeness is, can I distribute? Can I not ignore any part of my life? I give 100% completely. And that completeness is what I feel and see reflected back at me. That there is no regret for what I do because I gave everything. And so how could I possibly feel that there is anything that was missing if I gave everything? It has nothing to do with what comes back to you. Good. Slowly unwind the spine, releasing the hips down to the floor. Good. Pause there for just a moment. Feel your spine. Breathe into your spine. Breathe into your belly. And then bring the knees in towards your chest, please. Take your right thigh over top of your left, stacking the knees, separating the feet, reaching for your ankles or your shins. Gomukhasana legs. Again, like that's going to mean anything to you. Thighs all the way together. So instead of ankle on top of thigh, bring thigh on top of thigh, knee on top of knee if you can. Good. And then those knees are still folded up towards your chest. Flex your feet, Diane. Good. Nice, you guys. Release and switch. Take the other leg on top, left leg on top of right. Separating the feet, reaching for ankles or shins. And again, you're pressing thigh against thigh. So ideally, we're looking for there to be no space there. Good, Susan. Good, Harriet. Nice. Good, Maria. Nice, you guys. Keep the low back on the floor so that you're not trying to pull the knees in towards the chest at the expense of your lower spine. Good. And then slowly release, hugging the knees in towards the chest. Beautiful. Scoot your hips over to the left, drop your knees to the right. Spinal twist. Good, Diane. I like that with your legs. Just take your hips the other way if you're going to cross your legs that way. Yeah, you'll get way more. Yeah, you can keep that leg on top. There you go. Way more stretch on the outer thigh and hip that way. Good. And slowly release, come back to center, and scoot your hips over to the right, dropping your knees to the left or to the other side if you started going to the left first. Good, Lynn, I would pull those knees a little higher up towards your belly. There you go. And then come back to center, please. Knees in towards your chest, lift your forehead up. Meet your knees, give yourself a hug. Good, and then slowly release, feeling each vertebra of the spine as you start to extend the legs out in front of you, arms alongside you, palms up. Coming to rest in Shavasana. Let yourself become a puddle. Maybe bring back that mental image of the moon reflected on water. And just letting the mind rest there. Unbroken, undivided, complete. Enlightenment is like the moon reflected on the water. The moon does not get wet, nor is the water broken. Although its light is wide and great, the moon is reflected even in a puddle an inch wide. The whole moon and the entire sky are reflected in dewdrops on the grass, or even in one drop of water. Enlightenment does not divide you, just as the moon does not break the water. You cannot hinder enlightenment, just as a drop of water does not hinder the moon in the sky. Breathe deeply into yourself with the thought and acknowledgement. No matter where your mind is still scattered, you are unbroken, whole. And even if you have nothing to give anyway. And you will see that wholeness reflected. Bring the attention fully back to your breath. Letting the body begin to stretch and move in whatever ways serve it well. As you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest and roll to your right side. And take a moment there before you begin to push the floor away, come back to an upright seated position. Bring your hands to the heart center, palm to palm, or whatever mudra has been serving you. We celebrate during this time of the year when the days are short, but when the days are short, guess what's up for longer at night? The moon. The light never disappears. It just appears to become something different. So in the darkness of your own mind, that illumination becomes so present during this time of year. So use that example, use that image to feel for yourself that the more that you give to that light, the more it becomes apparent. The more you give to your life wholly of yourself, the more that completeness is expressed back to you. You feel it fully, even if you still think that you are a single drop of water or a tiny puddle. You can't make the moon any less. So you start to acknowledge, and we acknowledge that by lighting our lights, whether that's a Christmas tree or Hanukkah candles or going to a church, even if that church is not open right now, you light the candles in your own home. Doesn't matter the reason, but you keep lighting lights. You keep giving over and over and over again, even when there's nothing left you think that's worth giving. You do it. And you will feel that space inside of you widen and widen and widen until there's nothing but that full moon. We'll close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. This is your chance to say namaste and really mean it for yourself and for everyone else. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your weekend.